Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. Shalom to the elder bishops out there scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. Shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. And I say shalom to you Akim out there, and this is in another quick sit-down lesson on this January the 14th, Friday afternoon, 2022, as I bring out this news article right here. And this is from CNN Business. And this is a news article right here, and it shows the highlight of it. Markets now, and the highlight of this news article, even though this is from January the 12th to, I say about 2 days ago, on January the 12th, 2022, on Wednesday, and it was updated at 2:21 p.m. Eastern Time. And once again, the highlight of this news article says, if prices keep rising, a nightmare scenario for the U.S. economy is a real possibility. And I believe this is a person going to speak on this situation right here.
I invest in Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives me access to NASDAQ 100 innovations like CGI. Oh, don't worry.
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
We're talking about monetary, fiscal, and consumers, and you were telling me that we need to be careful that there is an orderly withdrawal by monetary policy.
That's absolutely right, Richard, and I apologize. The question last year was, will inflation stay high and persistent? Well, we've answered that. Inflation will stay high and persistent. Now central banks have to regain control, and the Federal Reserve, the U.S. central bank in particular, has a very small window to do so. So a lot right now depends on whether the Federal Reserve can catch up with realities on the ground.
Do you think the Fed's lost credibility, bearing in mind that the head, Jay Powell, and the FOMC consistently maintain this transitory line when everybody and their brother was saying that's nonsense?
Yes, I think they have, but they can regain that credibility. It took them way too long to realize what the rest of us realized, which that the inflation dynamic was persistent. Now they need to show us that they're serious about gaining control of those dynamics. So far, they haven't done very much. So people are going to be looking very closely at what they do over the next few months.
And if we look at markets, because beginning of the year, I always think it's helpful, people be reviewing portfolios of one sort or another. The Dow was up sharply, over 500 points last year. Now, not the best that it's ever done, but not bad all the same. And I'm wondering, if, in your view, is this a time for risk on or risk off?
It's a really difficult question because there were two drivers of an incredible rally. Remember, this was the third year in a row we've had double-digit returns. One, we've talked about central bank liquidity. That is going away. But there was another one, which is the conditioning of markets. And that is still deeply, deeply conditioned in terms of buy the dip. I think on the whole, one should become more risk averse, more careful as you go into the year. But I wouldn't rush right now to sell everything. I think there's enough momentum still for the next few weeks that we may well see some more record highs.
I invest in Invesco QQQ.
Despite
So after that 2 minute and 30 second clip about the the economy and
Q,
everything
a
like
fund that
that.
gives me
You know,
access
they
to
kind of
NASDAQ 100
think
innovations
that it's going to be
like
optimistic
CGI.
about it,
Oh,
but
don't worry.
Become an agent.
but not. That's not the. Really, that's not the case, because as you start to see the hyperinflation,
September in
Slovakia about that. About the hyperinflation continues to go up. The hyperinflation of the cost of goods, like food supplies, groceries, and everything like that. And the cost of living, paying your rent is going up high every year, you know. And consistently everything is continually going up. And the highlight of this news article was saying that if prices keep rising, a nightmare scenario for the United States economy is a real possibility. And it definitely is a real possibility. And I believe like the economic feds, they believe, if it continues to have like hyperinflations and the continued mixed reactions from the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, the S&P 500, that deals with a lot with the economy and everything like that. And then they keep on doing these interest rates and keep on funding money with the Nasdaq and the stock market and everything like that, and it's gonna show a decline of everything and everything keep on going up. And I'm gonna read this article right here. It said there's no denying inflation is here. And it says consumer prices surged 7% over the past year. High housing prices have continued to soar too. But the question on the minds for many economists and Wall Street strategists whether something even worse could be, you know. Right back to Bulls play Raw tonight. They're gonna face the Warriors.
We beat them though, I think already.
Yeah, I think the series started
Yeah, in Chicago.
Yeah. Right, break my own. I'm a cowboy. I'm bring my own work.
Whoa, man, where you get that from, man? Teach me a fight. Broke folks from now.
It says, but the question on their minds, many economists and Wall Street strategists, whether something even worse could be the car's price rising as the economy slows. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying to break my record on record.
Man, who's real? She gonna be snoop.
Huh?
What you in there, man? You can snap it. Oh my God, bro. You just in there laying down, bro. Nah, bro. Look at the hurt in that shit. It ain't cold out there, man. Straight out the window. Sorry. Go to the back though, famo.
What's up, Kiki? Yeah. Yeah, wanted to go outside. She was anxious to go outside. Whoa. Whoa. Thirsty to go outside. I felt to go quick as hell. Slovakia for that. Had to do some momentarily for a couple of minutes. Back to the news article about CNN Business regarding the economy. That's the textbook definition of stagflation. It would be the worst nightmare for consumers, investors, and Federal Reserves. Not to mention President Joe Biden, as the rest of the Democratic leadership in Washington just asked former President Jimmy Carter, who lost to Ronald Reagan in his 1980 re-election bid, as the economy suffers from surging gas prices. The stagflation is a difficult problem to overcome, especially for central banks, the Feds, and rest around the world. There are few tools to combat both inflation and a slowdown at the same time. The strongest fix for an economy slump is to lower rates. But, as you've been seeing for the past year or two, the Feds kept on increasing the interest, and while you got the Dow Jones, stock market have been having continual mixed reactions. And it continued to, Dow Jones became to continue to slump. Sometimes it had good stock markets, and sometimes it been, falling very much deep, And, as the Feds, the central banks, they keep on raising the interest rates because the mixed reactions of the Dow Jones, because that's a part of the economy as well too. As much as they keep on plunging money into the economy, hyperinflation and the interest rates continues to rise and going up. I believe they said this been this is a 40-year record high of inflations. Been from 2021 into 2022, but mostly it was reported in 2021 of last year. Throughout the whole last year, that you've been seeing a strong world record of hyperinflation been so high. This that ever been so high in 40 years, I believe. And it's going to continue to be like that in 2022. As the economy have a mixed flow of things. So continuing on with the reading, stagflation is a difficult problem to overcome, especially for central banks, the Feds, and around the rest of the world. There are few tools to combat both inflation and a slowdown at the same time. The strongest fix for the economic slump is to lower the interest rates, but those have been near zero for almost 2 years, right? Because they've been keeping on raising the interest, keep on plunging money in the economy as the economy keep on slumping and falling, like the jobs creation, etc. And it says raising rates to fight inflation, but that haven't been working, because hyperinflation, that's why everything that's going up, to the rent, the housing market, and the food prices and still's been constantly growing up. Sales been going up on that, and the cost is very expensive, for the American consumer out there. It said it could slow the economy. That's a major concern right now in the United Kingdom, where the central banks raised rates last month to combat higher prices. And it says rate hikes also tends to put more pressure on longer terms, both yield, which have also risen in anticipation of the Fed's move. Those tend to be partly inflationary because they make more expense to borrow money. Right, and this is a recent article right here. It says this is the worst inflation in nearly 40 years. Yeah, just like I mentioned. But it was so much worse back then, So it was worse back then, and then it's worse now. So no difference, Even though it was worse back then, but it's worse again now, And it says the good news is the economy is still growing a healthy clip. Somewhat. It says as it recovers from the pandemic word recession, consumers just keep on spending. As the Feds does begin to hike interest rates, it is unlikely to do so at a rapid pace or scale that it would do so much damage to the economy in the near term. There's enough stimulus in the system not to worry about the stage part of this equation for many quarters to come. Jim Reed, global head of thematic research at the Dutch Bank, said in a report last week. He said, however, the growth did slow in the third quarter, rising some alarm bells. The market is expecting that the economy bounce back was highly doubted. And it's going to be still a mixed reaction, especially it is with the stock market. Back in the fourth quarter, and will continue to do so in 2022, still lingering supply chain worries and surging cases of the O word, V word of the code word 19 throw a wrench in the recovery hopes, right? Because they still going to have concerns of that as well too. And that's, messing with the economy of the jobs, because you're going to have a lot of people that rebel, even though they hire people, but it's going to have a lot of requirements for that, like a weekly testing, see if they got the disease, And a lot of people are going to rebel against it and refuse to take the shots and the water mandates. So, there's going to be a lot of requirement behind to that as well, too. That's why this pestilence and increase throw a wrench in the economy, that increased the chances that the Fed could misjudge the moment and policies too aggressively, if it starts to worry about the price stability and inflation, right? 'Cause inflation is going to continue to be at an all-time high rate of everything going up, the cost of living, the housing market, food supplies, food chains, and all that, and everything's going to continue to constantly increase and go high as we in the year of 2022 of Yahweh Hashem El Shai is turning up things, part of this dual mandate instead of the maximum employment job parts. There always is a risk of a policy error. The feds is carrying military policy nuclear football with them. So there is a potential for a mistake, said Christine Hopper, Invesco Chief Global Market Strategist. That said, Hopper is not overly worried that Fed's chair Jeremy Powell is about to make a major mandatory flaw. So as I was reading this long article right there about, a worst nightmare case scenario for the economy. And it's going to get to that point, And I'm going to bring out the scripture again like I did in my previous video. Because, we continue to see the downfall of this place, The daughter of Babylon, according to the Holy Scriptures, modern day today. This is the book of Revelations 18:2, and it reads, "And she cried with a mighty voice, saying, Babylon the great is falling, and she become the habitation of devils, and hold every foul spirit in a cage of unclean for a for birth." Right, because we've seen the constant and consistent basis of this place is falling. Modern day Babylon is definitely continuing at a rapid rate of increase of this place is constantly and continuously falling, and it's going to currently going to be like that, So with that, I don't want to going to be too much on this article right here of this sit-down lesson for January the 14th of 2022, So other than that, I hope this was edifying through the spirit of power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Hashem El Shai Hashem Rakar Kadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. Shalom to the elder bishops out there, preaching His word truthfully, faithfully, strongly, and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. I'll be out in a minute. Preaching His word truthfully, faithfully, strongly, and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching His word truthfully, faithfully, strongly, and sincerely. Until next time, I will say shalom.